Hi there, everypony! Welcome back to Like a Ditzy Do, a video blog about the My Little Pony collectible card game. And yes, I'm back from more than half a year of a hiatus. Oh, jeez. I had no intention for the hiatus to go that long. But you know what's really responsible for helping it finally come to an end? BronyCon. I went to BronyCon 2018 and it was an incredible and amazing, just all-around great time that I've mentioned in a few non-canon episodes that really helped to recharge my batteries and make me really want to get back to doing this, even if I am running as late as ever with my monthly deadline. So anyone who's watched a good chunk of my BronyCon video content has noticed I don't go into a lot of specifics about what happened regards to the CCG at BronyCon. You know, I mean, I've showcased loot and everything, but I don't really go into many stories. Well, part of it is, unfortunately, Enterplay doesn't have much of an official presence there, if at all. But the other half of that, I felt like I had enough stories that warranted their own video, and what better way to bring the show back than telling the stories that helped bring the show back. Not the least of which was the fact that apparently this show has at least one very loyal fan, and I'm going to refer to him as Cool AF because he was really cool, and I'll leave you to your own imagination what the AF stands for. But now, this is the gentleman in my announcement video that I mentioned just messaged me on the Facebook to ask, where's the show been, are you okay? And we had like a few exchanges after that, mostly me explaining, yes, I'm fine, the show's just taking a while because, life is happening. And I didn't think anything of it. I mean, to my recollection, he had given no indication that he was going to be at the show. But not 10 minutes after I got out of the registration line, got my badge, which I meant to wear. Yeah, I'm officially back, folks. Gentleman approached me and introduced himself, and hey, you're the guy who messaged me on Facebook, and he said he was. And, after the initial reaction of, holy cool, I have a fan who, recognized me and approached me and wanted to tell me, nice to meet you. And after, he left, I actually was kind of annoyed with myself because I had an extra one of these still in the box that I had gotten for a Christmas present. And I brought it to BronyCon with the intention of the first person to recognize me I'm going to give that to them as a gift of appreciation. With, crossing my fingers that I would get recognized at all. But I didn't have it with me because I thought, I'm just signing up and I'm meeting Blackbird's friends. I don't need to bring a bag full of stuff with me. Which, as Blackbird will tell you, is something you never want to think at a con. But, so the next day happens, the con proper starts, and I am carrying it with me in my bag, along with the 2 decks I brought. In the back of my mind the whole time, I'm like, well, what do I do? Because I promised I would give it to the first person who recognized me. Do I give it to the first person who recognizes me when I happen to have it? Do I message Cool AF? And, this whole debate was going on in the back of my mind pretty much the entire first day of the con. The problem sort of solved itself when I just happened to run into Cool AF again. I was like, oh, hey, I'm glad I ran into you. And he seemed very surprised by that. But, I handed him, it was still in the box, but I handed him the Ditzy figure. And I hesitate to talk about some aspects of this because it feels like I'm talking myself up, but he was just over the moon about it. He was great, he's just expressing gratitude. He even mentioned like once or twice that this was a figure he was going to be looking for in the dealer's hall anyway. And, just surprised that he reacted so strongly. I just I didn't even realize I was saying it until I heard the words leave my mouth. well, if you have a marker or something, I'd be willing to sign it. And he ran to get a Sharpie. And then he ran back, and, I signed it real quick. And, he emphasized that, yes, he wants to meet up and have a game, but he can't talk now because he's in the middle of a tournament. Dude, I understand. I'm waiting to meet up with a friend right now anyway, so yeah, go enjoy your tournament. That is one CCG thing related I didn't do, is I didn't participate in any tournaments at all. But those were such large blocks of time, and I was actually just having so much fun hanging out and going to panels and everything. So, even though since day one I've said I wanted to participate in a tournament, I actually actively skipped them when I was at BronyCon. But, only the minimalist of regret there. Which does bring me to a pretty big highlight of the convention, is when I did actually get to play the game. Not only with Cool AF, but with someone else. Cool AF and I, kept messaging each other throughout the con, and eventually I had, some... And eventually it was late Saturday going into Sunday morning, I think. Or it was one of those moments where I was physically tired, but still kind of wired. So I wanted to do something that didn't involve waiting in line or running around a lot. So I messaged AF, he said he was in the gaming room, so, ironically I did have to go back to my hotel, grab my decks, and find the gaming room. But yeah, that was really cool, because I got to play the game! And while I was waiting my turn, Cool AF was talking. And again, this is why I sort of I know I sound like I'm talking myself up, but this is how he talked to me. And, just in between his turns, he was just talking about how much, he really appreciated my show, and it helped him to understand the game, and he used words like genius, and it's just... I'm one of those people who doesn't know how to react well to praise. So I was just... I mean, dude, I'm going to assume you're watching this, maybe arrogant on my part, but if I seemed weird, I was appreciating every word of it. I just don't know what to do with that sort of thing. But yes, eventually I got 2 games in. And against Cool AF, I used my Pegasus Airways Dashi deck, which I know I've mentioned in one of my update videos. It uses Canterlot, Knights, Rainbow Dash, mostly focus on Pegasi and critters and moving those 2 different kinds of cards around. And it was another, Cool AF is cool that I mentioned in one of my BronyCon videos that I had actually gotten to open more than a few cards of Sequester and Beyond before I opened my booster box. And one of those moments came in before our game. He had like 6 packs, and he's like, hey, let's open these together before we play. And I'm like, okay, yeah, great. And I'm opening packs, and I'm looking at, oh, these are really cool. And, I hadn't seen anything of the sense since I read it on the CCG wiki, so I was basically kind of reading these again for the first time, sort of. And it was really cool. And that is worth noting, because I can't remember if it was before or after this, we realized that Pegasus Airways is short a problem. And I asked if that was okay, basically meaning, can I just play with 9 problem cards? Because my rationale is that I've never heard of a game, I've never seen a game, and I'm sure as heck not participated in a game that is using an entire problem deck. But yeah, I think this is when he suggested we open the Sequester and Beyond packs, because maybe I can find a problem he can loan me. And that's exactly what happened. I used one of the Sequester and Beyond problems. And I have since opening my booster used that problem to, not only fill the gap, but I took another problem out so I could have 2. That was a really fun game, and it was really, really fascinating to me, because this is like the first time I'm getting in, not the first time ever, but the first time in a very long time that I'm not playing someone I've taught, and I'm not playing someone who's borrowing a deck I've made. This is someone who has learned the game on their own, has felt, their own likes, and their own strategies, and has built a deck on their own. And he actually used Muffin Mare Sharing is Caring as his main, which, for obvious reasons. So I appreciate you doing that, dude. That was really cool. And he talked about how this was the deck he designed after watching my episode on that main. So again, you know, I kind of sound like a egomaniac here, but I am just repeating what he told me. And so, yeah, that was and it was a really close game. Like, he started off winning, and then I caught up, and then I think it came down to the usual, if I score 2 points on my next turn, it's over, and I score 2 points on my next turn. And I tried to pass this off as a joke, and for the most part it was, but I'm just wondering, because, like, I'm so used to losing that I had to ask him, and, you know, I tried to pass that off a joke, so I did ask, so you're not just letting me win because I'm horse famous, right? And he laughed. He gave me a good, genuine laugh at that, but he insisted that he was not letting me win, and, you know, again, he's like, you're just really that good. And, but, yeah, that was a really fun game, and, yeah, in case it was obvious, I did win, but it came close, and I really am proud of this deck. It still needs a bit of tweaking, but I really do enjoy it. That was fun. That was fun. And, you know, it's just winning in that context made me feel really good, really proud of myself. It's a feeling I'm not used to, but I really like. One more noteworthy thing about that game was that Cool AF used dilemmas, or at least one dilemma in his deck, and he made a really compelling argument for them. So, you know I keep saying I don't know what to think about dilemma, so this is the vow, promise, whatever I'm going to make. If this show makes it to 4 years, and I'm hopefully no hiatuses between now and then, I will do an episode on dilemmas for my 4th anniversary show. But yes, that game was a lot of fun. Cool AF, you had a really great game, so kudos. Maybe someday in the future we can find a way to play online or something. The next guy I was formally introduced to was another person that Cool AF was actually a really big fan of. He runs a Twitch stream. His name is, yeah, I got it written down here, Dratta Arcana, or at least that's his screen name. I don't remember his actual name. And I have a link to the Twitch channel. So all that will be in the description below. And yeah, he was a really friendly dude. So me and Cool AF finished our game, and he was playing a game with someone else. And it was that was fun to watch. And the guy Dratta Arcana was playing against, he actually used the blind bag Pinkie Pies for his action tokens, because he had so many of them. Really should have paid attention to see if it was a Pinkie Pie themed deck, but I don't think it was. I actually want to say it was, he's a Princess Celestia main, but I'm not sure. I know it was yellow. And so, you know, that ended, and we started setting up for our game, and I just, you know, because I had stressed before me and Cool AF played that, like, I only brought casual decks. I'm a casual player. But when Dratta and I were setting up, it was like, okay, so you know that this is going to be a casual game, right? You went, oh no, I'm playing my most competitive deck. Now, what's about, you know, considering how context is really important for what I'm about to say next, because in another environment with another player, this could sound like I'm describing a total a-hole, and I am not. Dratta Arcana was super nice. I have nothing bad to say about him and the time we spent together playing the game. I just want to stress that because, you know, back in episode 0, I had a very similar story about someone playing this way that completely turned me off to the Pokemon CCG back in the day. But yeah, speaking of the Pokemon CCG, for that game, I actually used my Thorax deck, because I actually managed to pull Thorax in some of those packs I've been pulling at the local Target. And this deck has been played twice now. It works really well, but I want to tweak it to be more what I want it to be. You know, it plays fine, but it isn't what I wanted. I'm going to change it so I can do more. I was very conservative when I built it. Now I know I can be a little more risky or fast and loose or whatever the terminology is. But yeah, and also gotta open this back up again because looking inside, it reminded me of a story that I don't have written on my notes. So yes, he let me know he was using one of his most competitive decks. I don't know if it was the same best deck money can buy, but it was definitely an expensive deck because he couldn't find it at first, and he was freaking out because he spent a lot of money on it. But he is the Scootaloo main from Marks in Time, and he used Traveler and Movement very much in his strategy. And seeing as I used the Thorax main, the perfect analogy for that game was just like a bug through a windshield. Like, I was crushed. I mean, I scored a few times, but I couldn't keep up. But, I still had a really good time. Dratta Arcana actually did a really good job explaining to me what every card did and why he was able to just move around. And part of the reason why, I enjoyed that so much is I just didn't realize how deep this game's mechanics can go. Certain other things going on in one of my other hobbies, talking about how options and choices and depth is being thrown around a lot. It's like, I knew this game's and the My Little Pony CCG game engine was really good and really creative. I just didn't realize just how strong and fluid. Like, I'd heard stories of showdowns being 99 versus 100 power level, and I just couldn't comprehend how that happened. So this experience just let me think, okay, that kind of thing, yes, very much is possible. And it also showed that I do not think I have the brain for competitive play. I would have had someone explain that to me step by step, which he did. I would not be able to come up with that strategy on my own. And honestly, I don't think I would remember to do everything he did, especially at the pace he was moving, which he pointed out to remember. Competitive play is often timed. And I don't do well on times, on being timed, which, may help explain why my episodes are almost always so late. But yeah, I do want to stress, I was talking about, he used a really competitive deck with really expensive cards to crush my experimental casual deck. I know that could easily, in another circumstance, be me in a really angry mood, but no, I had a blast. There was a lot of laughter. He complimented a few moves I managed to pull off. So yes, just please do not, like I said, I'm going to link to things, and please do not troll him on my behalf. He was a super chill dude. I had a lot of fun. I'm really glad I met him. I do have a couple of bittersweet things related to the CCG that I didn't really get to do. One of the biggest surprises of the convention is that me and Blackbird ran into an old friend of ours that we hadn't seen in years. And, he just walked up to us, and it was great. It was great to see him again. We exchanged contact information so we could keep in touch. And, he spent the majority of the rest of our time with us. Most of the time it was okay, we meet up with these normal people, and now we try to find this friend we ran into. And he was with us a good part of the convention, and that was just really awesome. If he was into My Little Pony when we knew him, I don't remember, and he admits it's something a friend got him into, but he's super into it. He was cosplaying on the second day, and he wanted, he's had interest in the game, and he wanted me to try to explain it to him and try to teach it to him. And my own always anxious about teaching the game, being anxious about teaching the game aside, there just wasn't a good opportunity to sit down, spread all the cards out, and explain, okay, here's what you do. Just didn't really have the opportunity. But still, that was just really cool to run into him, meet him, and find out he's a brony. The other sort of bittersweet thing there, my buddy Nick came with us, and he brought a couple of his decks. I can't remember if they're starter decks he bought, or he actually has since tried making his own decks. Incidentally, I will link to a video in the description where he just went nuts at the Pack Breakers boots. He bought I don't know how many booster boxes, one from each set just about. It was freaking crazy. And he had but we just, he brought decks with the intent of me and him sitting down and having a game. Just that didn't happen. Just didn't have time, or we were tired. But he did come up with an idea for a CCG playing video that we might look into. I mean, I think it's a fun idea. If nothing else, it'll be fun to record, and I'm all about that. So yeah, but yeah, just not getting to play the game with my actual friends, that was kind of bittersweet. But at least I got to spend time with the friends, and again, I just had a great time playing the game with people I didn't know. And yeah, in an attempt to just end this on an overwhelming positive note, it can be really frustrating being a fan of this game, especially my situation. There's no scene for me here locally. Just like on one of the Facebook groups I'm a member of, there's seems like almost every day there's someone posting, yeah, I'm selling my collection because I have no scene here. Or there's a post on the CCG Reddit like, yeah, I think the game is dying. That hurts my morale. Wanting to do this show, has entered my bad thoughts. It's like, am I talking about something that is dying? Am I wasting my time? But that's another reason why going to BronyCon was really, really good for me in terms of bringing my batteries up, because this game still has a following. This game has a presence. Not only did I see people playing in the game room besides me, Cool AF, and Dratta. There was at least 2 other people there. There was a tournament that Dratta apparently placed fifth in, so yeah, no wonder he crushed me. At one point me and my group of friends were coming into the convention center, and I saw 2 guys opening packs and sorting cards, like at the bottom of the very same steps that me and my friends had a pickup game of Cards Against Humanity on the very first night that I think went for something like 6 hours. When I was waiting in line for Lena Hall's autograph, a guy had a binder full of MLP CCG cards, including a lot of the Gen Con cards. I don't know if it was a complete list, but it was really mind-blowing to see problem cards that stay vertical. And oh my gosh, so many of those cards were autographed. It was insane. So yeah, despite the constant negativity on the internet, because it's the internet, this game still has a following. It still has a fairly strong following, and that makes my heart really happy. Even if I never get to play another game again, I intend, emphasis on the intend, to keep doing the show even after the game ends, because I will still have things to talk about it. In that vein, I also want to just say, enter play, on the off chance any of your members are watching this. Please keep this game alive, because even if you lose the MLP license, you still have a really strong, well done, surprisingly deep game that I think even if the My Little Pony version does fail, like everyone says it's going to fail, if you get a new license, make it an original, you have a really, really good game here that you could just do so well with. And I can't promise that I will follow in a new incarnation, but I will darn well try. I just truly love this game, and that has just I've been really reminded about that since going to BronyCon and just getting to soak in all the MLP CCG goodness that I did. So that concludes the very specific MLP CCG stuff. Though I do have to make 2 more shout outs before I finally sign off on this video, and hopefully it isn't an actual hour. The first is to Mad Munchkin, who's I mentioned in my quick little vlog video. I went to her panel on staying creative, and that was the spark that got me to start really wanting to try to get back to this. I don't want to say it lit the fuse, but there were definitely sparks near the fuse, so the fuse got warm. And the question, because I mentioned in that vlog video that I didn't get to ask my question. The question I wanted to ask her is, because she had talked about it's easy to lose the drive or you lose your ability to create. Like if you're an artist, you might want to lose, you might feel like you lose the ability to draw, or if you're a writer, you feel like you don't have the will to write. What I wanted to do is I just wanted to take that a step further, because I really felt like I had lost my ability to create, period. Like I mentioned in some of my other videos, even if not done directly in the show, I write fan fiction. I do other creative things besides this show. And I just felt like my creative spark, period, was just completely gone. And I really wanted to ask how, like, okay, this is beyond writer's block for me. I just feel like I can't. She made the comparisons about, you know, creativity can be like breathing. I just feel like I had lost the ability to breathe. And while I didn't get a chance to ask that question because, I mean, okay, I'm not trying to lecture you guys on con etiquette, but when there's a time limit and people want to ask the person questions, don't get in line to ask her about her favorite music and make music recommendations to her. Like, find the person outside the panel to do that. And I never thought to run into her, look for her at the vendor's hall. You know, it just slipped my mind. But even then, going to that panel, you know, it shoved the ball, even if it didn't get the ball rolling. What really kicked things into high gear was I got to see the big horse famous people there. They gave a panel, you know, Silverquill, Dr. Wolf, I Heart Kim Possible a lot, Josh Scorcher, and Keyframe. And like I mentioned before, Keyframe really stuck out to me because she and I have similar mental health issues, namely depression, and she called out that, like, sometimes, yeah, she doesn't want to make videos, she just wants to sit in her bed all day, but she finds a way to force herself through it. And there was a point where I was talking with someone close to me, and I just flat out said, I don't want to do the show anymore. And hearing Keyframe, knowing we have the similar issues, you know, say she finds a way to work through it and still produce work, whether it's her videos or her drawings, that was the moment where it's like, no, I do still want to do the show. I do want to keep doing this. And, you know, a month after BronyCon, here we are. Those are my MLP CCG related stories and a couple of bonus stories related to specifically the show, even if not the content of the show. Thank you Cool AF, thank you Dratta Arcana, thank you Mad Munchkin, thank you Keyframe, thank you Blackbird, Mr. Left Turn, my buddy Nick, Bright Idea, all the celebrities I talked about in another video, and there's going to be a lot of links basically. So, thank you every pony so much for making BronyCon such an amazing experience that I had to use that cliche song to open the video. And I'm back, guys. I'm gonna try really hard to start producing content regularly again. Can't make any promises because work has been really crazy and exhausting, and you know, life happens, but I feel like I am back. And so I hope you're happy to see me, because I'm happy to be here. So until next time, I'm back, like a Ditzy do.
I know the world can't get you down. Things don't work out quite the way that you thought. Feeling like all your best days are done. Your fears and doubts are all you've got. But there's a light shining deep inside, beneath those fears and doubts. So just squash them and let it shine for all the world to see that it is time, yeah, time to be awesome. Awesome, it's time to be so awesome. Awesome, it's time to be so awesome.
Okay guys, so here's the story I've promised in 2 videos now about the main 6 party planners ultra rare from Sequester and Beyond. Basically, it's just that Dratta Arcana just gave me this card. Like, he mentioned that he's going to give it to me before we played, and after he played, he literally just pulled it out of a binder and handed it to me. And I'm just, you know, extremely moved by the gesture, the kindness of it. You know, he didn't have to do that at all. You know, he did try to play it off that the card is banned, so it's useless. He has a bunch of copies he doesn't have anything to do with anymore since he only does competitive play. I don't think he was being fair to himself to dismiss, because he also gave me this card. Spike, Master of Ceremonies, the one that lets you get all the effects from a song card. I haven't heard anything about this card being banned, so the fact that he just gave me 2 ultra rares, having just met me, again, I just thought it was really nice. It helped make my BronyCon all the more special and memorable. And I just wanted to make sure he got props. So, yep, took a video that was super long and made it even longer just to say thank you. But thanks, Dratta. That meant a lot.